So hey guys, it is Void and I'm showing you the what I'm calling the Gaster setup. So we have the tablet and all my kind of writing things, keyboard, that's my art monitor, and then there is that, that's everything running off of it. And there's all the cables and hence why it's called the Gaster setup. There's 5 things connected to the computer, and then we have this external with an extra 3, sometimes 4 things attached to it, and then there's my shitty microphone. I shit you not, it says Rock Band on it somewhere, but there you go. Cool. Now for the unboxing. So this is the case for everything, and I honestly have no idea what this is going to look like opposed from the side of the box awesomeness. So I'm super excited. Box, fuck off. Box, fuck off. Jesus. Step 1 complete. I was thinking more of silver. Really? Like, what is...
Well, you'll understand later.
I'll understand. Ooh, plexi window.
Don't scratch the front or the plexi.
I'm not...
Don't scratch it.
I tapped it. Calm down. This is buttons making it the front, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This side looks like it has little feetles. It's squishy feetles. This side has just knobbles.
Wait, let me see that side with the feetles. That's the back. Or that's the bottom.
Yeah.
That sits on the floor.
Okay,
The
so...
side that your left hand is on is the back.
So that makes that the top then?
Yep.
Okay, you said that was the front, you dirty liar. Nipples. Why are there nipples? Look at the nipples.
Those are just plugging holes.
Nipples!
Way over there.
Way over there.
Don't break it.
What the fuck? We have clothing. Clothing for our computer. No. Just a mouse pad for his computer. He's sanding his desk with his stupid mouse. Okay, there we go. Ooh, pretty things. It's like Christmas.
What's that?
This is the motherboard. It's heavier than I thought, Jesus.
One of the heaviest pieces, I think. Depends on the motherboard, though. Mobo. Mobo.
Mobo?
Mobo.
Oh, motherboard guy.
We're gonna name him Mobo.
No. And then here's our power supply. Pretty power.
500 watts.
What?
Alright.
I don't want to put anything on top of anything else. Here's our Fury processor?
Fury X RAM.
RAM. This is RAM. Can I download RAM free on the internet?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You just might get a virus.
This is the processor.
For what's the answer? Now, look at the little bit right there. That's actually the processor.
What's the entire box for then?
The cooler's in it,
Oh.
but we're going to be using my H100i instead,
Okay, guys.
which is a water cooler.
And then we have this thing. Process of elimination, I should know what this is, but I don't. I'm just cutting the box, not even the tape at this point.
It's going to be Seagate.
Yeah.
I believe that's everything.
Yeah.
I
And you have
believe
everything
so.
else that I need, so there you go. Those are the...
This is a bare bones build. We went as cheap as we could, so we of course went with the 600 series Black Edition, which some people say is not good for bang for the buck, but it depends what you're doing. She's not going to be doing anything hardcore, so...
I'm going to be doing what you guys have already seen, which is the streaming, and I'm doing that off my shitty Gaster setup, so...
Yeah.
Literally anything's going to be an improvement for that, and... next on my list to get is a better microphone after this setup, so yeah.
So I actually used to own that motherboard. I know it works well. Every single hard drive I have is a Seagate 1 terabyte. I had one of these processors before. I built computers for work with them, and they actually do streaming and stuff really well. 500 watt EVGA, just a kind of basic power supply. Hyper Fury X RAM is actually what I use in my machine. I have 32 gigabytes of it.
You have like a wicked ass machine.
H100i is from my old machine until I did my custom water cooling setup. That is a kind of standalone water cooler where you don't have to have reservoirs or pumps or anything. And then the graphics card, if you want to go hold that up. This is just for now until we can get a RX 480.
It's a graphics card?
Yep, this is a graphics card. R9 290X, which at the time was top dog for a little while for AMD. And right now the top dog is going to be the RX 480, not because of performance, but because of price to performance. That is the H100i, which is the water cooler setup I was talking about.
I understand none of this. Awesome, we're gonna start building now. We open up the first part to go on the motherboard, which is the Fury, this thing. It's a DDR4. We need DDR3. Wonderful. So, this was a complete waste, apparently. And he is going, I look drunk with my glasses. He's going to get some of his RAM that should fit in the slot, but I'll show you the problem. Now, see the module on the left, and then there's that kind of hole right here. Those are supposed to line up. Even if you flip it around, it gets even more fucked. So, complete uselessness. Woo!
Alright, let's just lower it down. Just make sure all those holes are kind of lined up, and at the same time you line up that I/O. That's good enough. We'll throw this in there.
So we got the new RAM in and the processor. Found the right screws, guys.
That'd be nice if you had like a magnetic screwdriver or something too.
Aren't you using one?
No.
No. Well,
these screws aren't magnetic.
Oh, the
It's a
screws
little
aren't
bit
magnetic. Okay.
The screwdriver is a tiny bit magnetic from when I worked on alarm systems, but.
And then over here, we got this bit all lined up. I'm assuming that we did it right. Need fans, so we're gonna go take a field trip. We'll be back. Guys.
Let's go into the fans. We can have up to 4 fans. We'll only be using 2, so we can take one of them out. This goes to SATA power and then a fan controller for the CPU. Little fact is, if you don't have the CPU, anything plug it into the CPU fans up here, your computer actually will not start. Because your computer thinks that it's important that it needs a CPU fan cooler. Which I had that problem doing my custom water cooling setup. So, basically this nublet goes onto here and then tightens down to your stock AMD cooler mounts. And then this goes up in here, screws through the case into the Corsair H100i radiator, and then the fans go right here. We're gonna do it in a pole configuration. The fans, and now we need thermal paste on this thing. I'm back in, and it looks pretty cool. While we were doing this, I made it like we're doing surgery on a baby's heart. Had to be super careful, and we had to put goo in there and a whole bunch of stuff that surgeons do, and I'm completely bullshitting, but there you go. There's the magical cables, and the RAM's in now. Then, which would be Nearly all the cables.
nearly all the cables. We got these all in, and now we're going to start working on the power supply, but it's looking good.
We're gonna work on the hard drive.
We're going to work on the hard drive, which is going to go into this thing. Woo! It's really big and really heavy, apparently, for a graphics card. And there is the hard drive. It's on a little tray table, all nestled.
So this graphics card obviously needs like a 750 watt power supply, not a 500 watt. So it's going to be underclocked when we use it. We're not using this graphics card in this computer for very long. This graphics card's already underclocked because, as you saw, it was missing a fan. It's not doing very good. It's really old. I've been using it a lot. It's probably got a good year or two left on it, but it's not in good shape. So it's underclocked. We're going to make it able to be used with a 500 watt power supply. It's not going to be used for a long time. Any problems that pursue with it aren't going to be long lasting because it's not going to be in there for a long time. We're going to be using an RX 480, which only needs like a 200 watt power supply, and then the processor with this build is not very power hungry. It's actually kind of a small processor, so all in all, I think we're doing pretty good. This is just a placeholder because the RX 480 is out of stock everywhere right now, so just a placeholder card. I know it needs a bigger power supply, but we're just making do with what we have at the moment.
Power supply in, right?
Yep.
Where do they go?
So, this is the motherboard. It's a 20+4. A long time ago, motherboards used to be 20 pin, and now they're 24 pin. They added an extra 4 pins for extra bullshit. So this goes right there, the big connector, the 24 pin connector.
The thing that looks like the thing it goes into. Got it.
Alright. CPU. People might get confused on this and think it goes right into the CPU.
No, it goes
No. See that 4 pin up there? Right up there? There's 4 and 8 pin CPU connectors. This particular motherboard is a 4 because of the processor it has on it. Doesn't really need a lot of power, as I explained before. So they split them. So you can either have 4 or you can put them together and have 8. This is one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and that's understandable because a lot of people don't understand how power works. 4 pin, you don't have to use the other one. And now it's an 8 pin, and you can plug it into 8 pin connectors. Ooh.
So complex.
So then these are PCIe, which may also confuse some people. Your graphics card is actually in a PCIe slot. And this is basically power for anything that goes onto a PCIe slot. So your graphics card power.
It's a fancy extender.
Just goes into here.
Got it.
And then we go on to SATA power. SATA power. So
Data.
just like your SATA data, this is SATA power. So this powers your hard drive. This makes it go zzz, spin. Zzz. This makes it spin so it can read data off of your hard drive. And then you got these little bitches, which we're probably not going to use. These are just Molex connectors. We're kind of fading out of Molex in the computer world. So a lot of things aren't really using Molex anymore. Some things that use Molex are pumps for custom builds, but those are actually moving to SATA power too, for custom water cooling pumps. Some fans use Molex, but rarely anymore. Back in the past, Molex was used for your motherboard power, your PCIe power, which back then it wasn't even PCIe, it was actually just PCI. So, fading out, but they give us it just in case we ever need to use it for any sort of problems that would come along. This little bitch right here, this is for a floppy drive.
Floppy!
We don't use floppy drives anymore. We don't even have a disk drive in this thing because we don't need disk drives anymore. So yeah, we're going to route them behind. Cable management, number 1. Put them where they go. And then basically be done.
Woo! Together. The back side. There's the ugly side. Here's the fun part. There's the front. The top's a little boring. And then there's a window. Okay, we're gonna hook this thing up. Gaster is no longer set up. That area is clear. Got the monitor hooked up, and I just got to move this baby into place, and I think we're good to go, but
We need Windows.
I need to download all this stupid-ass software, along with all my Twitch shit and my art program. So, wonderful. Looking forward to that. But the computer works. Yay. I don't understand any of these numbers.